and I hope you like the book. Peace, YouTube. I want to give a shout out to Lil Hong Boot for those your kind words for tuning in. By all means, if you like what you hear, please buy the book on Facebook, YouTube Live, Facebook Live, YouTube Live, Facebook Live. If you enjoy what you hear, please buy the book. Ways to get this book is in the description box. This is chapter 19. One more chapter to go. Out of Duppy, you reap what you sow. This is chapter 19. I have to do a quick change, right? Quick. You get Facebook gets to see what you see, YouTube. Please forgive me. I'm just in mourning. So anyway, this is chapter 19, and I do hope you like it. Chapter 19, where are you? Here you are. So let's do it, shall we? Oh, let's do it. Chapter 19, Duppy, you reap what you sow, by Ronald Haynie. In the early morning rain at 5:30, while family members slept on Mother's Day, Sunday, Patrick entered the other brownstone he knew all too well. With jingling spare house keys on his key ring and wet bags of groceries in case the household was running low, he entered his old house, prepared for the breakfast menu he already planned to fix for the holiday. Giving morning greetings to Grant, who awakened at the sound of an extra person squeaking around in the home, Patrick gave his assistant managing cousin a head nod. Go on for sleep now, Patrick whispered. Me gonna cook breakfast for Mommy, Una, and the house. Nobody no fret no man, go on drop asleep. Wake up for your belly later. Grant nodded, returning groggily into the living room that was completely rearranged into extra sleeping quarters because of the many relatives inhabiting the house. Patrick sat the groceries at the bottom of the staircase. He stuck his hand in one of the shopping bags and took out copies of the Sunday New York Daily News, Caribbean Life, and the Sunday Gleaner of Jamaica. Then he hopped and skipped up the stairs to greet his grandmother, who he knew should be awake. Upon his arrival at her bedroom door in the familiar quarters, Una had practically cursed him. And once she lovingly chastised, she ordered her grandson all over her bedroom out of loneliness for Bradley, Dora, and the rest of the children from her original family. She contemplated returning home to Jamaica for good, for there was no use for her in the United States. Most of her time these days was spent worrying about church duties, Social Security benefits, her diminishing household presence amongst her new relatives, advancing technology, and the day when she would finally get a visit from Patrick. Once in a while, the household vibe with her English nieces, nephews, and cousins living in the brownstone was similar to the good old days. However, the glory days of her arrival in the United States, living with her son Bradley and her vexed daughter-in-law Dora, remained in her heart. Kiss me neck back to rotted. Walk the boy. Where the briefcase at early in the morning? Una said excitedly to her grandson. Mommy, take the papers for reading. Go and dress. Me are gone cook for you right now. Happy Mother's Day. Me love you. Me gonna downstairs in the kitchen. Patrick hugged Una, then kissed his grandmother on the cheek, giving her the newspapers. He returned downstairs to the second floor, picked up the groceries, and went down the hallway into the kitchen. Once he set out all of his items, he thoroughly washed his hands, put his artistic culinary skills to work. The surprise breakfast of ackee and saltfish, bammy, fried plantains, boiled banana, yam, callaloo, fried cornmeal dumpling, and cornmeal porridge, sausage with homemade sorrel to wash down the meal was for the women of his former household on the holiday. The miniature tidbits of the meal he carried to his grandmother touched her heart just the way he planned it. After she finished eating, Patrick returned her plate downstairs to the kitchen, gave Mother's Day greetings to a few cousins who had awakened as they thanked him for preparing breakfast. Patrick carried a mug of hot tea upstairs to his grandmother's bedroom, sporting the biggest smirk he wore in months. Seemed like old times after a while with Patrick's surprise meal for her, and Patrick knew he picked the right time for the visit. He would make it back to Brooklyn in time for the second service at church with non-speaking Michelle. For the time being, it felt very good to be at his home away from home. He re-entered the comfortable bedroom he remembered. Una sat in her favorite chair, large enough for two people, with her swollen feet propped up on a matching stool, catnapping while the television watched her. Papers sprawled around her lap. "Mummy," Patrick called out. "Come," she responded, snapping back to reality. Patrick thought, "Mummy, stay wanting hot tea. That's Mummy for your lover to death." He handed his grandmother her beloved mug of tea, opening her drapes, then kneeled by her ankles and began to massage her feet. "Praise God, hallelujah," he chanted to himself repetitively, feeling truly blessed to have his father's mom at his side again, and in a semi-healthy condition for her age. He nodded his head in the blinded, overcast sunlight, thinking this was the perfect time to find out about Duppy's. After a surprise Mother's Day breakfast in the bedroom, while Una's feet were being massaged, would be a great opportunity. While she sipped her tea after eating most of her favorite foods, her guard was definitely down. It was now or never. "Who's my favorite grandson? Oh, you keeping? Mummy, tell me what you know about Duppy," Patrick said quickly. Una stopped sipping with a raise of her loving eyebrow and a puzzled look on her face. "Huh? Tell me what you know, Mummy. About Duppy." "Me don't know nothing about no Duppy, me picnic. No fix your face." Una regally snapped at her grandson, seeming offended. "Oh, why so feisty?" Patrick thought, just like an old school Jamaican woman. He decided to coax the information out because he had to know about Duppy's. Everyone from Jamaica knew about Duppy's, spirits, spooky things of that nature. Even other West Indian countries were familiar with them. Let me try her again, Patrick thought, continuing to massage her feet. He even kissed and hugged her calves like Hyacinth used to do. He let a few minutes go by until she finished her tea. She passed the empty mug to Patrick. "Where's it, dear?" Una motioned Patrick towards the bureau. Patrick put the mug and saucer on Una's bedroom dresser, resuming his duty of rubbing her feet. "Mummy, me want to know about Duppy," Patrick insisted. Una looked at her grandson with loving eyes, and the stern pursing of her lips transformed into a humorous smile with flawless dentures. She kissed her teeth Caribbean style, and Patrick stopped rubbing. He knew that she knew, especially after the look she gave with the added sound effects. "Mummy, why you kiss your teeth up, Nuffa? Come on. You tell me something, Miss Small Man. Back home in Manchester. Eh? Remember?" Una giggled at her Americanized grandson. How could he remember things from J.A.? Patrick was too small to remember anything that went on in Jamaica. "Rubbish, go away." Una snarled. Yeah, man. In Manchester, mommy, you tell me. You come from the bush near the house near the kitchen. No, man. Una started her wonderful Duppy memory. Listen, me there in my bedroom fast asleep, and all of a sudden me just feel someone hand come across my shoulder. Me start up, me look. Me say, and me look and me see me father stand right by my bed. Hey, Patrick. Patrick's eyes widened with his grandmother's account. Her friendly encounter with her father's ghost mystified him. He needed more Duppy information. Yeah, man. Me here. So all them Duppy not evil. No, man. Some evil, some good. Duppy know who for fighting, Una replied, then paused, rolling her eyes and pursing her lips. Patrick answered her mental question before she asked. He could tell by her puzzled look that she needed some answers. He also knew that she knew he may be on a mission to help Dwayne. Me friend them catch up with an evil one. What I talk, see? What friend your chatbot? She asked incredulously. Mommy, it's Dwayne, Patrick said. Silence while Una tried to figure out who Dwayne was. Dwayne? Yeah, man. Dwayne. You remember Dwayne, mommy? She let a few seconds pass when suddenly Una remembered her grandson's evil American friend, the troubled Yankee boy who stole her money and house keys with the intent of confiscating everything for the drug crack. Family rumor had it that her grandson was fretting about on a mission for his Yankee friend who Carlton tormented months prior. She remembered the rest of the family laughing about how Patrick would be contacting them out of desperation, out of revenge for the trick that Carlton played on Dwayne as well. The family was telling the truth. The wicked Yankee had even been on the news and inside the city newspapers for killing innocent people. Una, too, detested the fact that Patrick tried to remain close to Dwayne, but she decided to let go and let God, being true to her faith. She recalled the night when Dwayne came by the house looking for Patrick. He seemed like he was being chased, even tortured. The thief? The crack one? Eh? Una shouted, sitting upright with a sarcastic temper. The blasted crackhead know about Duppy. He must smoke that blasted crack till him big head drop off. Them rasp Yankee Pitney know nothing about Duppy, you know. Mommy, him grandfather Duppy come back. Him pray for me, you know. Una kissed her teeth. She knew in her soul and mind, Americans knew absolutely nothing about Duppies. So once again, the Yankee boy was lying. Even Patrick, of Jamaican descent, knew nothing about them. How could Dwayne know anything? Patrick told his grandmother the entire story about Al Carter returning, rearranging furniture, playing pranks, and abusing Dwayne. Listen here, mommy. Him a chat say him grandfather lick him hard in him face 2 times and throw him upon the ground. Him try to say the Duppy goes in him yard, mommy. And the Duppy just throw him about the place, man. But me no know, mommy, me no know. Patrick explained to Una with disbelief. Una burst into laughter, eventually making Patrick chuckle. As an adult, Patrick liked to hear his grandmother laugh, but as a child, she would scare him. Una laughed like a witch. Mommy, why you laughing? So that dirty Yankee boy teeth, right? Him grandfather Duppy should have killed him. Patrick was shocked at his grandmother's cold heart. Obviously, she didn't know how much Dwayne was suffering since Al's death. Mommy, you don't know. You don't understand. It's all right. Me know. Me understand. You understand me, Pickney? Come, come. No butter, no fret. Come, Neron. Come, baby. Come, Eunice said with her arms outstretched, scooting over to allow Patrick to sit with her. Things happen for a reason, in its divine order, the elderly woman thought as she embraced her grandson. Patrick favored her deceased son so much when he became worried. He was never too old to be embraced because he truly worried, so much like Bradley Livingston, cool and detached, but inquisitive and overprotective of family, friends, and loved ones, such a man of the cloth. While Una hugged and held Patrick tight, like during his pre-adolescent youth, Dwayne awakened in his hospital room to French toast, cheese eggs, link sausage, grits, hash browns, and toast with butter and marmalade. Also added to the deal were the fresh fruit and freshly squeezed juices. The succulent aroma of his breakfast combined with a luscious feminine smell. And Nicole entered his room and kissed Dwayne on his forehead. Happy Mother's Day, honey, and many, many, many more. Even though you're not a mother, but happy Mother's Day, she shouted, untying his wrist restraints, beaming with joy. You see, honey, what goes around comes around. You fixed me breakfast in bed lots of times. Now it's our turn, sweetheart. She walked around his bed wearing a long black trench coat with a white leather Louis Vuitton purse with pink lettering hanging from her shoulder. She smiled at Dwayne, and he smiled back, removing his oxygen mask. Slowly, with excitement, his heart rate monitor displayed a rapid, steady beat at 94 beats per minute. I heard the really good news that you are doing much, much better. So I came to get some of that real good news myself, said Nicole. She smiled her flawless smile and started unbuttoning her coat. And then she removed it for Dwayne to witness her transparent Victoria's Secret white negligee. She tossed her coat and pocketbook onto the windowsill and stood with her hands on her hips, with her dark nipples hardening while she winked her eye at her mate. Dwayne, in awe of his current state and surroundings, was amazed at his woman and her antics. He did hear Patrick's voice saying that Nicole would visit him, but standing virtually naked as the day she was born inside his hospital room was seriously bold on her part, yet intriguing. That is page 490, the very top of it. That is the end of this excerpt from Duppy, You Reap What You Sow. Okay. The excerpt from chapter 19. I can't front. I began to feel better after reading. I've been in mourning all day, mourning Mark Morales of the Fat Boys. We went to junior high school together. We used to sit together in some classes. I'm well aware when he started rapping in the beginning, in the early 1980s. So anyway, and but I'm not going to make this about that. I thank you very much for tuning in if you've tuned in. There's ways to get this novel in the description box. I think I'm going to follow up this really quickly with the chapter 20, which is actually an excerpt from the end of the book. The book is 20 chapters. And then I'll go on with other things like live streams about transitions and everything. But other than that, thank you very much, YouTubers out there. Thank you again for that comment, Ling Hong Bu, and I'll be back with you shortly for chapter 20. Same for you.